if you've got the likes of sort of Tyson Fury, Dwayne Johnson coming out and speaking openly about their problems, I mean, these are giants of men. You know, these are guys you'd never imagine having any real difficulty in terms of, you know, depression or anxieties or whatever. But if you've got guys like them coming out speaking openly about it, I mean, that's kind of changed the game. I think men now definitely feel they can be a bit more open with their issues, whether that's with a friend or a therapist. Or I think that stigma's definitely changed now, because guys like that have come out, and you know, these are guys who, like I said, are just they almost seem invincible, especially for young kids growing up. They're going to look at Dwayne Johnson and just think, Dwayne Johnson could be depressed. So that stigma's changed. I think, back to the other part of the question, I do think that, yeah, now it can be a bit more easy for people to say, look, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I've got trauma. I think it's, in some ways, you've got to be careful, because you don't just want to start self-diagnosing yourself. I'm sure, you know, people now going around just throwing words like depression out there, I'm depressed. And so I think there's definitely, yeah, you've got to be careful with it, because I think you don't want to create people who are too sensitive. I think if you've got everything in your life in order, and you haven't got too many sort of negative ties in your life, and you've made a conscious effort to make things in your life that way, and then you still feel depressed, or you feel empty, or you feel like there's some problems, then I think that's the time to maybe go and seek like a professional and get to the deeper issue of what that might be. But I think if you're someone who's got, you know, seemingly quite a decent life, and you're maybe feeling you're depressed about something, I think you've got to be, yeah, careful. I think it's better to judge, maybe try and get things in order first, and then see what's left, and then it might be something a little bit deeper. So I think it's a catch-22. I think it's a really good thing that people like that have come out and have kind of changed the stigma, because I don't think it's healthy for like men to bottle up emotions and not talk. I think that's not a good way to go, because at some point it will just come out, and it can come out in maybe ugly ways or around the people it shouldn't do. And so I think it's good. I think it's good that, yeah, people would be happy to kind of go to coaches and therapists and talk about their problems. I think it's a really good thing, and it's great that people like that are actually talking about it. I think, yeah, it's really important. I think the key as well is to make sure maybe you're speaking to the right person. I think you want to listen to somebody who, you know, I think for the most part you don't want someone who's going to be too judgmental. You want to have someone who's just going to be like a listening ear, you know, not look to judge too much. I think going to the right person is important. Someone you can really trust and confide in. I think that's definitely an important thing. I think the other important thing is that, although it feels really tough initially sometimes to talk about things with people, I think once you've actually done it, you normally feel so much better for it. It's just that initial hurdle, I think, for guys, just to get it, just to sort of get it out there initially. That's kind of the main challenge. I think once you've crossed that barrier and you've started to say talk to someone about something, then you feel better for it. It's just, I think that first jump is probably the hardest part. I think support systems are everything. I think in terms of work, having good networking and people you can trust, people who, you know, bring the best out of you, people you can learn from. I think in terms of a work setting, having support networks is massive, because in work life normally things are quite competitive. Everyone's trying to, you know, get along and be the best, and everyone's going for jobs, and you know, I think you've got to be looking to be the best you can be. So I think having networks is massive, whether that's people within your field or other fields. I think there's so much you can learn from other people. So to have networks is massive. I've always had, thankfully, very good networks of people within my work, people I can call on if I need certain things, and they can call me. So very, very important. And in terms of support systems in your own life, like I can think now, I've got sort of four WhatsApp groups with guys, with friends, and you should go. You know, if I go into these groups, you know, you're going to see a lot of humour. You're going to see people who are supporting each other. Someone's had a bit of a crisis, you know, they're going to chime up, and everyone's going to be supportive. And so I've probably got four sort of strong WhatsApp groups where, you know, there's certainly a lot of support within these groups, and there's a lot of people picking each other up and making each other's days a bit brighter. And then obviously finally your family. You know, if you've got a family support system, That's incredible. It's just to know you've got that foundation, and I know for not everybody has that. So if you haven't got that, to have strong friend groups, to have those things around you, I think in times of need and tough times, or when you're trying to maybe further yourself, I think just to have them is really imperative.